Gents, thanks for joining us, particularly on as we're having slightly tumultuous times in the energy market, but let's put that to one side. Andrew, first of all, many congratulations to Amber for winning last year. What does it meant? What did it mean when you won it, and what's it meant for you as a business over the last kind of 9 months having that accolade?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that mix of kind of nerves and excitement when you enter an award and you kind of put yourself in the hands of the judges to try and evaluate, all the kind of the stuff that goes into the application and all the work that the team's done. And but I think to have people from the industry who are kind of examining all of that and all the different other organizations that they could have given the award for them to have picked out Amber and said, yeah, we think what you guys have done is worthy of an award is a real kind of high point and moment and it can be hard in this industry to kind of create the opportunity just to pause, look back slightly and go, do you know what? Some of what we're doing is actually pretty decent, and to have people outside the organization be backing that up is brilliant. And then I think what it does ongoing is it just gives it's that kind of that quiet voice of confidence, isn't it? That when you kind of get stuck, and whether it's COVID or what's going on in the market at the moment, and you sort of staring at a wall, trying not to bang your head against it, wondering whether what we're doing is even worth it or sensible or sane, to kind of, as we come into the office each day and walk past our small but growing trophy cabinet, space for a couple more, is it just gives you that reminder that, do you know what, there might be a lot of emails and a lot of stuff to wade through, but actually the wider picture, the bigger picture of what we're doing is about making a difference and doing the right thing by our customers, but also setting a bit of a standard within the industry for what we're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, what was your reaction when Amber won?
Well, I think as Andrew said, I think it's good to try and set yourself above the rest. My experience of Amber over the years, both when I've been a TPI and on the supplier side, has been people who actually know what they're doing and are actually there to give good advice to their customers. I mean, I think the market over the last 6 months or so really just goes to show if companies are actually there to give good advice and are actually able to promote good risk management strategies. So I think it is very important to actually champion those kind of things, because fundamentally it's what most people look at is how well have I been advised over this difficult period. So well done, you guys. That was a great win for you.
Andrew, very quickly, I mean, our previous winners have said it's helped with things like recruitment. It's, even locally, people go, oh, actually, that I want to join a company that's got a good reputation. Has any of that happened? Have you had any kind of feedback from staff as well? Because often you win an award and sometimes it's the bosses that go, yes, whatever, but it can make a big difference to team morale.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it's part of a whole combination of things, and clearly, what you want from your employer in a period of kind of COVID and pandemic and all of that kind of stuff has changed. But I think when it kind of boils down to what it is, people want to work for a company that's doing something good, and that can be both in terms of sustainability, environmental good, as well as just being good at what you say you're going to do, and what what it says on the website is what happens in reality. And I think what an award like the TELCA's gives you is that reference point that says, it's not all just pink smoke and fluff and tinsel that's coming out of the marketing department, that actually people that know their onions have looked at what we're doing and kind of gone through and said, yeah, these guys are worth knowing and doing something with. And I think particularly the space that we're in, where you know, we think we're big shots in the bit that we do, but actually out in the wider, bigger world, we're relative unknowns, and we're still a small but kind of growing organization. You need some of those reference points, because none of us, best will in the world, are household names that people are kind of really going to be really familiar with. And so you need a way of being able to demonstrate to people that, you know, you might not have heard of us. You know, the website might look good, but again, you know, does that just mean you've hired a good website designer? You've got some nice customer testimonials. Who did you pay to write them? But actually to say that, you know, you just bring all those reference points together and say, well, actually, if you're looking after these brands, they're happy to give you testimonials. You've then you talk to people internally, and they're happy and have stayed here for a long time. And then you've got that additional reference point that says your peers in the industry have given you a rubber stamp. Then I think that does make people think twice, both on the way in as to who they should be applying for, but also from a kind of retention point of view, that you kind of look at it and go, yeah, you know, there are some things in amongst all the spreadsheets and emails and, you know, bits and pieces that we're kind of working our way through at the moment. There's some bits there that we can look at and say, yeah, this is something to be proud of.
Well, one of the things we've always done is, you know, it's got nothing to do with you as sponsors. And you can tell us all that. It's got nothing to do with us as Energy Live News. We put the judges in charge, and you know, Andrew, his company, they've won it because of merit. Thank you for sponsoring, and you know, hopefully that gives you confidence as a sponsor that the awards have the credibility, because
yeah, I mean,
we all know awards where if you're a sponsor, you kind of know the winner, and that never happens with TELCA.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's good to see that there is a robust procedure behind actually vetting all of the candidates that are involved in this whole process. So it is good to see that there are good names out there. And I think both for Amber and for us as well, as Andrew just said, it's about promoting ourselves. We are not the most well-known energy supplier out there. We all operate a little bit differently to everybody else as well, and we are not everybody's cup of tea, but we are looking to form strong partnerships with consultants who actually work in a similar way to us. So we're trying to apply technology to an industry that has been traditionally quite slow to adopt new technology and move forward in that way. So it's trying to forge those kind of partnerships, and the only way we can really do that is to start promoting ourselves so people have actually heard of us as well. So that's why we are happy to be involved in this whole process. And obviously we are happy with who you chose as the winner at the end of the day.
I didn't choose, remember.
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about very briefly before we end is, obviously, you know, the net zero world is now pretty much the world of energy. As a business, what are you looking at Positive in kind of seeing what customers will need? Because we've heard this whole thing of suppliers becoming sort of solutions partners, and the need to work more with consultants as well. How do you see the way net zero will have an effect on your business model?
I think what we're trying to do is really to try and offer a range of different products. That's what we're looking to develop sort of going forward. As much as anything, we're looking to have our own sort of corporate responsibility as well internally. So we actually operate a more sort of net zero kind of policy within our own company, as well as sort of trying to help people actually reach their own net zero targets. So we do have a number of products that we can actually offer people. Sometimes they actually contend with what consultants are actually offering as well directly. Again, that's why we try and promote partnerships with people, so we can actually work together to actually develop things that customers actually want. So that's really what we're trying to do, is really work with our partners to see what their customers actually want and how we can actually deliver that as a partnership together, really. And
from your point of view, Andrew, I assume you must have customers saying, look, this is where our future lies in the net zero world. We need advice.
Yeah, I mean, we are, you know, actively seeking customers who are kind of on that journey, but maybe don't know the route to take.
Of course, yeah.
I think it's going to make the world a lot more complicated but it's essential, because I think in the past, and we're seeing it with the types of interactions that we had, that previously you sold energy to the finance team or the procurement team, and it was seen as a cost, and their main factor was trying to reduce the rate at which it increased. And then you might get involved with a facilities team that were looking to do some energy efficiency savings, but it was all about an ROI that was pegged against the cost of energy. And I think what's fascinating is we're having much broader conversations, marketing, PR, sustainability, investment, cost of funds, all of that stuff is starting to kind of play through. And therefore, and also then when we come and look at procurement strategies, that becomes more complicated too, because you can't just buy your energy from one place and hope that the REGO certificate that you've got is kind of good enough to tick the box, and that's you once and done and kind of on your way. So we're growing into that really, and saying, well, how do we help simplify all those choices about, do I have a PPA or not PPA? And I think the fascinating thing for me around all the net zero stuff is there's a lot at the moment that's kind of everyone's pointing at someone else, saying someone else has got to fix this for me, and not really sure about nuclear, and not really sure about the range on electric vehicles, and I'm not really sure about CHP, and I'm not really sure about air source heat pumps, and there's all the things that people aren't really sure about, and they're not really sure what's going to happen to carbon, all of these kind of things. And I think we have to all come back to what we are sure about. And what we are sure about is that we're going to have to change, and we've got to fix the things that are staring us in the face in front of us, and let's worry about the things that we don't know the answers to in time. And so I think a lot of what we're trying to do is help people see that they might have, in the past, they might have had 2 or 3 choices. It was, do I buy my energy from this supplier or that supplier or that supplier? And there were 2 factors. There were how green it was and how much it cost. And that was about all there was to kind of pick from. And now it's like, well, what do you need, and what's your load shape? And, all of the things that have been upstream considerations probably, and taken out of the hands of the customer, suddenly become relevant, because they get priced in. And we're all going to have to get smarter about what we use, when we use it, and how we kind of manage that. And it's on us as an ecosystem, as an environment. So I think we go from being a fixer or a broker, or whatever we wanted to kind of label in the past, and service providers, into much more of managing a network of people and linking people up with the right solutions. And those solutions will evolve over time, and so you need that long-term relationship. And what we're seeing is you just can't just keep swapping your supplier every 12 months and hope that that's good enough.
Yeah, and I absolutely think so. Well, look, thank you very much, both of you, for joining us. I hope that Amber are entering again this year.
Well, I think we'll look to defend our crown.
That's good. And of course, thank you very much again, Mark and Positive, for sponsoring again this year. See you, hopefully, if you make the shortlist, I'll see you on the 1st of December, and Mark will definitely see you there. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks all.
Thanks, guys.